every color we unite. Together we shine, bring the light. Through stormy weather, through the pain, with open hearts, we'll break the chains. It's you and me, we'll stand so tall in the rainbow's embrace. We'll never fall. Hand in hand, we'll share the dream, a tapestry of love woven at the seams. With every hue of voice is strong, together is one, where we all belong. It's you and me, we'll rise above in the rainbow's embrace. We spread our love. In every corner of the earth we sing a symphony of hope that unity brings. With every color, let our love soar, together as one, forevermore.
Good evening and welcome to the Universal Rainbow Faith Church right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Paula Sadler and I am the founding minister and president here at Universal Rainbow Faith Church. And we are streaming to you live from the historic Commercial Center District. So welcome, welcome everybody who is tuning in. I didn't know if we were going to have our service tonight because we did do a special service today I was a special guest speaker at Unity of Las Vegas at 11:30 a.m. And so if you missed that, I invite you to go to Unity of Las Vegas YouTube or Facebook streaming. But on Facebook, it's only going to be there for 30 days. On YouTube, it is ongoing. And tune into that 11:30 a.m. service. And I want to give a special thank you to all of you who came out in person to meet and greet and listen to this live service, as that's something we don't get to do here at the Universal Rainbow Faith yet, because we are just a virtual streaming church at this time. So welcome on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. So grateful to be here with you tonight, July 27th, 2025. And our theme today is Serendipity, Synchronicity, and Silence. That is the topic, that is the title of the topic. And as I said, I was so grateful to be invited by Lisa Lee and the Unity family at Unity of Las Vegas to be a special guest speaker. It was my first full talk with them, and I'm so grateful. It was just a wonderful experience. We had a great time. There was some beautiful music and a lovely meditation. So I just want to give a special thanks to Unity of Las Vegas. And for those of you that are tuning in, if you're looking for an in-person service, I invite you to become a part of that community. And you can be a part of Universal Rainbow Faith too. You can do it all. And they have lovely services at 11:30 a.m. Of course, ours are virtual at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if you're really needing that in-person, one-on-one connection, if you need that physical hug, and you just want to be around people, you can do that. They also stream their services too, and they can be watched as well. There's nothing wrong with double downing on spiritual guidance and spiritual lessons. It all goes to the good. And so our mission statement here at Universal Rainbow Faith: Universal Rainbow Faith is a sacred spiritual home where LGBTQIA+ people and allies are fully affirmed, celebrated, and protected. We believe that gender, love, and identity are divine expressions of the Creator. Our mission is to uplift, heal, and empower individuals through spiritual truth, radical inclusion, and sacred community. Activating the rainbow light of love to affirm the sacredness of every person, especially those long denied, excluded, or erased. We exist to heal spiritual trauma, celebrate LGBTQIA+ divinity, and restore dignity to all people across body, mind, and spirit. And let us affirm. We affirm the activating presence of sacred power within us. We are the living light of transformation, resilience, and divine justice. Together, we rise with love, truth, and purpose. And our opening sacred reflection from the Nature of Miracles, our sacred and holy text available on Amazon. A miracle is always waiting to be acknowledged right around the corner. You must only remain open to receive them. From the Nature of Miracles, page XXIX. And let us center ourselves and do our opening breath work. And so, let us take a deep breath in and exhale, relax. Get comfortable within the space that you are in. And just visualize a beautiful sacred rainbow light filling your being with each inhale. And exhale. We have our children's blessing early this week in our program. We bless the sacred light within all children, youth, and childlike hearts. Know that you are seen, celebrated, and safe to grow into the fullness of your divine self. And I wasn't sure if we were going to do this 5:30 live stream, but hello, here we are. And I do invite everyone to watch the 11:30 a.m. Unity service. It was a beautiful talk, and there's so much great spiritual information. I won't be repeating the same service tonight, so please tune in there at YouTube, Unity of Las Vegas. And so I'm going to focus on 3 spiritual stories that I shared in the Unity talk today. And one of them was, we have the rainbow meditation. There was one about a car accident and Michael Scherer and the gifted poem. And so let me refer to my program from this morning. And so I can give you a little background on that before we go into the stories. Let us define what a miracle is first before we talk about it. A miracle is where heaven and earth meet. It is a shift in perception from fear to love, a moment that defies logic and awakens faith. It is the evidence of God's presence. The root word of miracle is miraculum, which means object of wonder or marvelous event. And so, just reflecting on my talk this morning, I gave definitions of serendipity, synchronicity, and silence, the name of the talk. And we also defined a miracle and also spirituality and service. That is all within that. And I shared about my personal spiritual awakening and experience through these synchronistic events, through these serendipitous moments and these little miracles. And miracles can be something so small and they can be something so big. And they are not something that is just reserved for those of any high spiritual caliber or priest or minister or nuns or saints. They are the action of God's presence in our life. And they are available to the atheist, to the agnostic, to the believer, to the non-believer, to everyone in between. They're not religious in nature at all. They are simply unfoldings of the miraculous available to everyone equally, and that is you. And so we talked about that. I did share the stories which I just told you about and a few others. We talked about how miracles are represented over time through all different spiritual religions, from Judaism to Christianity to the indigenous peoples and on. And so they really are there and available for all of us. And before we go into that, let me just give our announcements before I share our stories. So So I don't think we got to do those. I don't actually see my announcements in the program. Okay. So our announcements this week here at Universal Rainbow Faith Church before we go into our stories. Also incorporated in our theme this week from our calendar online is forgiveness and healing from religious trauma. And so this sacred message today is simply my follow-up from my talk this morning at Unity. And we're going to continue the reflection honoring the power of spiritual healing through storytelling, signs, and silence. And together we open our hearts to miracles and begin the work of releasing old spiritual wounds. Our featured song today will be Thread of Light. It is a new URF original available on TikTok and YouTube under our Sacred Music playlist. We will be doing our tithes and offerings. So thank you for supporting our mission to uplift, affirm, and empower the LGBTQIA+ community and allies through sacred truth. And you can give online at universalrainbowfaith.org. On the homepage, we are now connected with Tithely, and we appreciate your contributions. You can connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, and Instagram. Like, share, follow, subscribe, do it all, and get the word out. And I invite you to go to our website, universalrainbowfaith.org, click on the blog, or go down to the bottom of the homepage, and take a look at our blog. Please make comments, like them, share them. There's beautiful articles, amazing topics, and in-depth look into so many of the needs within our community and also spiritually, equal for everyone. And for next week, we look ahead to our theme for next week is reclaiming faith as LGBTQ+ people. That could be also reclaiming faith as one of our allies or spiritual seekers. Rediscovering spiritual identity and reclaiming divine faith after trauma. If you've had any religious trauma or other trauma, this will be great for you. So let's continue the journey of sacred remembrance and joyful belonging, and invite someone you love next week to tune in with you. And those are all of our announcements. Thank you. And so let me share with you a couple of the miracle moments that I shared today. And I've had so many of these happen for me in my life. And I started to become slightly aware of these when I was 14 years old. And a new friend came into my life, Terry Noel. And I was going through a very difficult time as I was really not fully understanding myself. And she just loved me just as I was and gave me so much love and support and introduced me to my first spiritual book, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck, and took me to Unity Church and self-realization, introduced me to the I Ching, astrology, meditation. And when I read the first book she gave me, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck, what an eye-opening experience. It was just amazing. And I read that several times between 14 and 19 and my early 20s. And definitely a classic and spiritual awakening and spiritual growth. And so I received a journal when I was 14 years old from my Aunt Bonnie, and my friend Terry recommended that I start a diary, start writing. And that was very therapeutic at the time. And so I did. And this journal that I started, this is the journal, I still have it. This little diary turned journal ended up becoming 36 years now of writing through a practice from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way that I picked up in my late teens, early 20s, where we were to write 3 pages of stream of consciousness, 8.5 by 11 regular notebook paper every day for 12 weeks. No matter what comes, we just write, even if we write, I have nothing to say or whatever it is. And there's a format and there's a structure that she recommends within that writing. And so I've been practicing that now for nearly 36 years. So thousands of pages of journal, this deep introspection and looking within. And you don't have to wait 10, 20, or 30 years to get the benefit from journaling like that, stream of consciousness writing is what we call it. You can begin now, you can begin right away. You can pick up a copy of Juliet Cameron, The Artist's Way, or you can follow her direction and guidance, or you can pick up a copy of The Nature of Miracles, which I talk about that process in relation to my experience with it and what I've been doing, and then how this book came to be. And so I started that, and I began to write, and it turned into a conversation with God as I understand God. Eventually, when I was 21, I started doing channeled writing. And some people, they don't really know what that is. And, oh my God, what is channeled writing? Is this some new age, airy, fairy, mystical something or rather? But it's not. So let's not really get mixed up with words. Really, all channeled writing is, very simply, is my conversation and my intimate prayer and meditation with God as I understand God, and that beautiful loving presence answering me back as I intuit it, as it comes to me, as I write it on the page. And so there is nothing extraordinary about it. There's nothing overtly mystical or magical. It is available to everyone. It is available to you, dear viewer and dear friend, tonight. You can write, you can pray on the page, you can ask questions, and then you can wait for the guidance to be revealed. So that's all that is. And it's amazing that some people say, oh, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in that kind of thing. Oh, what? You don't believe in prayer and meditation? You don't talk with God as you understand God, whether it's Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or whoever it is, and that beautiful presence doesn't answer you back? So that's my experience. So nothing to be afraid of there. It's part of our spiritual practice, and it's available for the atheist and the agnostic as well, and for everyone in between. Anyone could go to the page and they can write, and you can put your deepest thoughts down, you can ask questions, and you can wait for that guidance to come. One of the prayers that I have been using for many years is, Dear God, what is it that I need to know today in order to grow? And one that I love for the world is, what do we need to know today in order to grow? And so I pose that question to all of you out there. I would like you to hold that in your mind's eye at this moment. Hold that question within. Dear Father, Mother, God, what is it that we at the Universal Rainbow Faith Church and in Las Vegas and all of the world need to know right now? And this is how you can use my book, or any book. I can even do this with a dictionary. And so we ask that question, we're seeking that guidance, we see that guidance coming as the most perfect and right answer. Just let your fingers do the moving, and then we open, and let's see what comes of this. Dear child of the universe, listen deeply to your heart, to your intuition. It alone is a powerful tool to help find the answers to the questions you desire to know. You are already doing what you feel is right, and in the cosmic order of things, you are in harmony with divine law. Dear God, what can others do to ease the poison in their minds that is this war of hate, anger, and vengefulness? And God speaks. All in the right time. You see, this is the world you live in, and each day, by you growing peace, love, and hope in the garden of your heart, you will become the cause of much harmony in the lives of others just by being who you are. That is how wars are ended. It is when we shed the aspects of the self or ego that have been learned by us as who we are to be, and the ways in which we are to act as we have been taught by other humans and not the divine spirit. When we learn to intuit and listen deeply to spirit, we become the real self, the childlike state of mind that knows no bounds to what it can achieve and be. In the fantasy-like mind of a child lies the power of hope, happiness, and grace. Children are precious gems that are to be valued, cherished, and loved deeply by those who keep them until they are ready to fly into the world and be what they are, the selves they came into this world to be. And so let us not hinder our inner growth by not being a receiver of light. The consciousness of our children depends on us. Telling children what they can and cannot be or do is limiting. Let us move forward now into the light of God where all things are possible, and not just pass the buck of living in an illusion onto them. And as we grow, we allow our children to grow and assure them that their dreams are within reach, that they are the masters of their own universe, and that life and living is in the knowing that there is abundance and more than enough for all of us to shine. Assure them that when the time is right, they will be all they deeply desire to be. Their dreams are important and not tainted with a learned ego of fear and denials. And that is from page 26 and page 27 of The Nature of Miracles. And so that's how spiritual guidance works and spiritual awakenings can work. And it was pretty amazing, actually, just to simply open and turn after I did that prayer. And there actually happened to be a small sticky note in here for some reason. And it just opened right to that time. And just earlier today when I was doing, here's another small miracle moment, just earlier today when I was doing my talk at Unity, a friend was there visiting for the first time to come to Unity and then to hear me speak, actually, more than just online. And she had mentioned a story about her father that when she had passed, I think she was driving, she had come across some elk, this beautiful animal. It was very peaceful, it was very beautiful. And I told her, so well, that is maybe your animal totem now. And there are many ways in which those who have departed speak to us, and many ways in which the divine are to communicate to us. And I told her that's something to look up. So I came here to my office. I got my book, Animals Speak by Ted Andrews. I open up the page, and what page do you think I opened it to? Without even trying, it opened to the animal elk. And so in that moment, it was a confirmation that I was in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and that this was the most beautiful and right message for her, for my friend, about the elk. So I took a picture and I sent it to her. Other ways that miracles work in our life, and something very small could be very big. I was getting ready yesterday. I was taking a shower, getting ready to go to work. And I thought to myself, I said, I need to take off my shoes when I do my talk at Unity. And for some reason, I just knew I needed to be grounded to the earth. I needed my feet planted firmly on the ground. And it was just there. And I step out of the shower and I have some music playing. And what do you think the next song that came on was? It was about being barefoot. So you just can't make up those kind of things. There's no way that I could have just turned to the page elk. There's no way that that song could have come on in a moment just like that. In these very small moments, we're getting divine confirmation and confirmation of something beautiful and miraculous happening in the physical world here, which we need not fear, and we just celebrate. We just celebrate it and we say thank you when we recognize it, if our minds are open to them. And so I gave my talk this morning. We talked about many things. I did talk about barefoot. And I want to let you know that I wasn't alone today at Unity. I love what Maya Angelou says. In one of her talks, she talks about if you are nervous and you have anxiety and you're going to a meeting, don't go alone. Bring all of your ancestors with you. And so I did that. This morning I woke up about 4 a.m. and I just was praying and I was meditating and I was being so grateful. I had worked on this particular talk for a few weeks. I put a beautiful slideshow together for it. And I was really having an amazing conversation with God. And I really felt an amazing and beautiful presence all around. And a thought had come to me of a few things that I was going to say during the talk. And everything just worked out so beautifully. And in that moment, I just felt such a closeness and such a connection. We just never know when we're going to get that moment of where we are just in the zone and just connected with the source and with our higher power. And I remember that when I woke up and I kind of looked around the room, there's a couple of places where light comes into the room. Above the window, above the drapes, there's just a little space where a little bit of light will come in from the outside. From my doors, there's a little light from the fish tank in the living room coming through, just a small amount. And then, of course, from the phone charger and from the alarm clock, there's a little bit of light, but mostly it's very dark. But the room seemed unusually bright during this time. It lasted for about an hour, at least, maybe an hour and a half. And finally, when I was done and I laid back down to go to sleep and I closed my eyes, I could sense the light that was in the room just slowly fading and slowly getting darker. And I don't know if that was just my eyes and being aware and alert at that moment and perceiving more light, but it was almost like there was this beautiful moment and there was this connection and there was this beautiful energy and there was more light there than there actually was before. And finally, when the prayer was over, when the meditation was done, everything just kind of faded into a very peaceful kind of darkness. And in that moment, I just said, thank you. And I just knew that I wasn't alone. And there was this moment that happened when I began to close my eyes. I had imagined being in outer space, and there were these beautiful clouds, kind of like the clouds we see in the sky, beautiful small clouds that were moving. And within the clouds, there was this kind of lightning, almost this electricity moving around and swirling around. And the clouds were moving, and the electricity was moving, bright golden electricity. And then or lightning. And then the clouds were changing colors, like looking at these beautiful pastel watercolors, clouds going from white to shades of blue to pink, along with this golden light piercing in and out. And it was just such a beautiful visualization. And I just know that I was touching something deep, something from the beyond, something, where heaven meets earth, where my consciousness was elevated into this higher state of awareness and being. And that is from prayer and meditation. And that is not just available for me, it's available for all of you when we go into these places where we can visualize or where we get images and visions of that. And so that is what I talked about. Actually, I'm going to refer to my program this morning. That'll help me move through, as I'm just going to do a bit of a review. And so, let's see, where are we at? We talked about the definitions. We talked about, I defined the letter S, the number 19, so numerology and letters, how these can be part of the miracle moments that come to us. The double S or the infinity symbol as well, some personal numbers that mean quite a bit to me, 11, 22, 33, 9, 11, 7, 11, and 8, all part of miracle moments in my own life and awakening. We talked about these kind of miracles across different faiths as well, and what they mean in New Thought and metaphysics. We did many affirmations. I told stories of Serendipity and the beginning of miracles. I was telling you about this journal that I got. I talked about that story and how that turned into many years of journaling and then channeled writing, and thousands of pages later. I have notebooks like this filled with, a whole year's worth of writing from many years, including I had done intensive work with dream journaling and dream interpretation, all kinds of prayer and meditation journals. It was just dive deeply into that introspective world for a long time, and still do today. I still do regular journaling as well, along with my other creative writing. And then I talked about getting sober in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I have been sober for 22 years, and how there was the miracle story of the dragonfly that weaved in and out of this beautiful 2-year period leading up to that sobriety. I talked about the Dragonfly Years and what they mean and when they came into my life. And so I talked about the movie The Butterfly Effect and also the movie Dragonfly with Kevin Costner. If you haven't seen those are absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And many more affirmations. So let's get back to the stories that I want to share with you. Here's one, and this is how miracles may come into your life and how you may recognize them. It could be a dream, a song, a repeating number, a meeting of a stranger, an internal prompting, a song you hear on the radio. They come in so many variety of ways, from small to large, and you may actually have your own burning bush experience, or it could just be something as small and seemingly insignificant as a dragonfly flying into your garden. And so I was in Barnes and Noble. I was about a year or two before I got sober. I had a stack of self-help books like this. And I met a man named Michael Scher, who later we became friends. And I was really searching at that moment. We became friends. It was a beautiful experience. And I will just go ahead and read to you that story. I'm just going to share these few with you. Let's see if I can find that one. Let's see. Although I've told this story many times. Okay, here we go. One moment that stands out was meeting Michael Scher of Paladin Appraisals. And you know what a paladin is. It is a good knight. And I always associated him with the Archangel Michael. There was just something beautiful about his energy and his presence and the loving kindness that he showed to me. It was Mother's Day. I had a stack of self-help books in my hand. We struck up a conversation that led to a beautiful friendship. Later, when I became newly sober, he offered me work, and his ex-wife, who had struggled with alcoholism, had left behind a car that he had bought for her. So I ended up with that car, and that's the one that she got a DUI in. And it was on my birthday in December 2002, and I was newly sober for just 4 months. And that's just all too perfect. It was just a sacred setup. You just can't make up that kind of moment. And he was very pivotal and very important to me for that time in my life. And then there were the Dragonfly Years. There were countless synchronicities involving dragonflies, from my garden to Carmel to Jackson Hole. And one story that still touches me deeply, there was the moment in Morgan Hill, California, on my way to Pajara Dunes in Monterey Bay, when a seagull died in my arms. And there was going to the store Extraordinary that was filled with angel everything, where I found the book, The Universal Angel Cards, which I still have to this day. And there was the meeting of Karen and Carmel at the barnyard in Polaris. Her store's name was Polaris, who shared stories of miracles and angels and dragonflies, and who knew about me without saying a word. And then there was Sophia Wakefield in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The week that I met her in her beautiful little store, Harvest Bakery Cafe, she and her husband, Forrest, sat to have lunch with me and shared stories of answered prayer, miracles, and angels. There was a dragonfly connection from my garden and the book, again, the Universal Angel Cards, to Karen and Carmel, to the Harvest Bakery Cafe, and one in my garden before I left on the trip to Carmel with Michael, dragonflies with watercolors in the shop in Carmel, and the story that Karen shared of hundreds of dragonflies coming to her when a big change was about to happen in her life, when she was swimming in the pool. And then when I gave Sophia confirmation through the beautiful blue dragonfly I found in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in her store, Harvest Bakery Cafe. I later learned that dragonflies symbolized a 2-year period of change, and that when they come into our life, they teach us how to get in touch with our emotional nature, with our thoughts, and to be grounded to the earth. They're connected with the realm of miracles, change, and they allow us to access the past, the present, and the future. So after meeting Sophia and having a powerful synchronistic and serendipitous moment, I was struck sober that Sunday and experienced the power of going into silence as I swam under Mystic Falls in Yellowstone, seeing all of my troubles and all of my past being washed away. All because of a feeling that I had of being pulled into her store and the dragonfly that I found there. And so when I shared the story today, afterwards we had a moment of reflection, and I just asked everyone, think of a time something unexplainable happened, a moment that made you stop, smile, cry, or believe again. And would anyone like to share? So we had a few shares. My friend shared about the elk and her father passing. I told you about how I opened the book here afterwards, turn right to the elk page. That's actually an impossible probability. And then there was a gentleman who shared that he had come to the first service. He stayed for the second Unity service. And after I shared the story and I asked that question, he raised his hand and he said, on my way in today, a blue dragonfly flew in front of my face and was just kind of hovering there, and then it flew off. Amazing confirmation of God's presence in our life. And it can come through something as small as meeting a stranger in a bookstore, meeting a stranger in a dress shop like I did in Carmel, having an experience with a dragonfly, and having all of those things be randomly, seemingly connected. They seem like they are, not related and not relative, but finding out how it's all connected together. And so that is a powerful moment that happened to me. And then we have, let's see, where's the other ones? There's one. So a few years ago, I woke up about 4:55 a.m. and I had this dream that I was driving in the car. My brother was in the car and my golden retriever Buddy was in the back seat, although Buddy had been passed away for several years. And we were driving up a very steep hill, and then we were going down like almost a 90-degree angle. And the car was going faster and faster. I went to put on the brakes went out. The car tumbled and rolled. When I woke up in the dream in the car, I was upside down in my seatbelt. My brother was also, he was unconscious. My dog was okay though. He wasn't even strapped in, but he was okay. About a 55-pound golden. And so I could see smoke from the back of the car. I could smell gasoline. And then I saw the flames. And I said, oh my God, we've got to get out of this car. And so I got myself out of the seatbelt. I went around, I got my brother out, I pulled him out. I'm dragging him across the dirt because we had ended up in like the dirt shoulder. And Buddy grabs his shirt or pants, and Buddy's pulling him too. And so we get about 30 feet away and the car explodes to a fury of flames. And then I woke up, I took a deep breath in, I sat up in the bed, and I went, and I had this thought that I said, something is not right. He's in danger, and he's in great danger. I had a sense he was in danger. Kind of like when I had a sense and I was pulled into that store in Carmel, or I was pulled into the store in Jackson Hole, Wyoming to meet Sophia or to meet Karen, and where I had the dragonfly experience. So this moment, I listened to that. So I began to pray and meditate. And I am a Reiki practitioner too, so I did a 2-hour Reiki session, and I just knew something was not right. And we often have a really strong connection with our family and with those who are closest to us, but also it could be complete strangers as well, in which we get messages for, or friends. And so I did a very extensive Reiki session, the longest I've ever done on anybody. And there was a lot of pleading and hoping and begging that he was going to be okay, but there was a lot of energy work that was done too. And I just felt it was a grave danger situation. Just like I felt with Dr. Sasha Alexander Kagansky, which is on a blog post on the Universal Rainbow Faith, and you can read about that, of something that I saw in a remote viewing from 2020. And it's a wonderful story. It's all true, and I invite you to read that, to understand how Spirit communicates with us and how our intuition is awakened in these moments. And it could be just simply in a dream. And so I woke up, I looked over at the clock, it was 4:55 a.m. I did my work about 7:30. I called our mother and I told her I'd had a dream about him and that I was really worried about him and has she seen him? And she said, I haven't seen him for a couple of days. So she started calling around. And I don't know if it was that day, it could have been within a couple of days. She found out that he was in the hospital and he had suffered a traumatic head injury on that very Sunday and was admitted at the exact time that I woke up from the dream. And we found out later that he had been unconscious twice and they had to revive him twice as he had fractured his skull. And so later I spoke with him that week finally, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm glad you're okay now. You know, I got some stitches, he was okay. And I told him my dream, and I don't think he could fully appreciate it at the time, but it was very powerful and it was very clear. And so I had that dream. You know, he's okay, you know, still today, but that was a very powerful moment. And for me, it just confirmed of my own intuition that I need to listen to my intuition, that is the guiding force and guiding principle in so many experiences in my life, in so many ways. Why would I ever not listen to it when it has been confirmed with whether it's a dream or a feeling, and then to have the actualization of that and the proof of that beyond the shadow of a doubt? There is no way. And the improbability, the 1 in a billion, or the very seemingly impossible being made possible. So we really can break through the veil and the mystery of that, and by listening to just our dreams even. And so that was another moment that happened, and that was very powerful. I remind him of that dream today, and I tell him, you know, I don't really think you have 9 lives anymore. You've pretty much used them up, so just stay on the straight and narrow. And then there was the rainbow meditation. Several years ago, I did a group community sage event where we saged the entire shopping center neighborhood. It's about 4 blocks. I had volunteers come up. We took sage wands. We did a beautiful prayer. And then we went around and cleansed, and just cleansed all the old energy, just to cleanse and to heal. Then we did a meditation. We came back. We did this beautiful rainbow meditation where in the and this meditation is in my book, The Nature of Miracles. We envisioned this rainbow that was emanating from within, encircling our plaza, our city, our country, the world, going out into the universe, far, far out, and coming back and just circling around. And then on the most beautiful sunny day, without a rain cloud in sight, without a cloud on the horizon, I looked up after the meditation, and there was not one, but there was 2 halo rainbows in the sky, beautiful full circle rainbows. It was stunning. So I took a picture quickly as I could, and a video just to capture that moment, that it was real, it really happened, and other people saw it. And then you have to ask, how does that happen? The power of intention of that group at the time, a beautiful healing moment. And so our thoughts have power, our words have power, our lives, our actions. We're constantly creating and manifesting, either negative or positive. And the question is, what are you bringing into your life? What are you bringing into the world right now? And so from page 312 in The Nature of Miracles, a miracle is no less a miracle if I do not see it. I ask that I be made aware of miracles when they are happening. And I want you to think about those stories and which one touched you the most this evening, and just to ask yourself, you know, what miracles have you had in your life that maybe you didn't recognize? What person, place, or situation is something that has happened so beautiful and that you thought it might be the divine speaking to you or coming to you, but maybe you brushed it off, that it really wasn't. But I tell you, it most likely was if you're even thinking that. So let's just take that into a time of meditation as we do our Miracle-Mindedness meditation. And this one was done this morning, but I do want to do that again this evening. So just get comfortable where you're at. Take a deep breath as we go into our Miracle-Mindedness meditation. And so let us begin our Miracle-Mindedness meditation. Everyone at this service was given a feather, so I want you to visualize just having a feather in your hand. I'll tell you about that afterwards. So that feather is so that you may soar today with this meditation. So let us take in all that we have talked about as we take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, feel yourself relaxing from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And in this meditation, we are going to activate your miracle mind, the miracle of your spirit, your body, mind, and soul. As we go back to the beginning of time, to the very first miracle, seeing a beautiful golden thread, this miracle of creation and of life, the very miracle of the creation of your soul, the creation of the universe, all woven together with a thread, a beautiful golden thread of a miracle, bringing you forth now through space and time, connecting with everyone and everything. We now embrace all the miracles that have ever happened throughout time and space, through all of eternity and all dimensions, bringing that rich and beautiful spiritual energy to the here and the now. Feeling it now in every cell of your body, enlivening and invigorating this beautiful energy and presence of the divine. Knowing deep within that you are a miracle, that your life is a miracle, that we are all miracles in this moment, and that we are creating a beautiful miracle moment together. We now visualize the sacred S, the letter S, seeing it curving gracefully like the spiral of the soul, the shape of serendipity, of synchronicity, and of silence. And as you hold this sacred S in your mind's eye, see it mirrored by yet another, two S's joining to form the infinity symbol, a timeless reminder of the eternal miracle within you, flowing endlessly between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, God and self. And as we go deeper into the silence within and beyond, we are now connected with the energy of miracles that this world needs right now. Take that in and visualize the miracle you want to bring forth into your own life, into the lives of others, or into this world right now. This energy of the divine. And let us feel that, sense that. You may have heard a song, met a stranger, saw a repeating number or pattern, or had a dream. Let us take that into the silence, and this will become clear to you, and you will know just what to do. And let us take that now into a moment of silence. And now see that miracle happening and taking place, and your loving energy being a part of the creation of that, and that you are activating your consciousness and awareness from this time forward that you will be aware of the miracles in your own life, of all those miracles that have come before, as they are revealed now in your consciousness, and the miracles that are being manifested in this moment and will go forward in space and time for yourselves, for others, and for the entire world. And that this energy is being brought into this world through grace, through compassion, through unconditional love. Feel that. From the top of your head to the tip of your toes, emanating this beautiful energy of miracles. And as we come back to this place in time now, our work is done. We give thanks for it and we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And let us take this beautiful miracle-mindedness energy into our special song selection this evening and our music. The Thread of Light.
There's a thread of light through the silence, in the stillness, a sacred sound. I am woven into wonder, where the oracles are found. I believe in the unseen beauty. I believe in signs and grace. I am held by serendipity in the arms of time and space. I see the S that spirals inward. I feel the thread that brings me home. I am the miracle. I am the moment. I am never alone. I am never alone. I am the miracle I pray for. I am the answer and the flame. I walk the path with spirit guiding, and I will never be the same.
Just beautiful. And that is The Thread of Light. And that is on our Sacred Music playlist. So I want to thank you for joining us this evening for this special review of our Unity talk from this morning at 11:30 a.m., which you are invited to go to Unity of Las Vegas on Facebook or on YouTube and to watch that full service. I think that you will just enjoy it greatly and get so much out of that. And now we have our offerings and gratitude, and so we accept contributions on universalrainbowfaith.org. We are set up with Tithely, and just know that this ministry operates fully and completely by your contributions. Whether you're able to make them online now, you can set up regular giving as well. You can support our various funds that we have, our Building Expansion Fund, our World Ministry Outreach, and also our Sustaining Trust, that we want Universal Rainbow Faith to be here for generations to come, to protect not only our LGBTQIA plus community with religious freedom and free from discrimination, but also our allies and all those who seek a spiritual way of life. And so we thank you for that. And we thank you for getting the word out about what we're doing here. And so stick around afterwards. We will have a very short meet and greet. And I will answer any questions you may have. I'll be able to see messages on our YouTube, possibly TikTok as well, and also Facebook. We are streaming from my personal Facebook page, which you can find at Paula Sadler online on Facebook until we get enough followers on Universal Rainbow Faith, and we'll stream from there, but they're only available for 30 days. That's their new terms and conditions. But we live on YouTube, on and on. And so stay connected with us, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of our socials. We thank you for liking, sharing, following, subscribing, doing any and all of the above. And our closing affirmation is, I am a miracle. I walk in divine timing. I trust the silence within. And I thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm going to try to close with our song Embracing Togetherness, but it looks like our beautiful little Bluetooth speaker needs to be charged. So let's see if we can get through our closing song before we do the meet and greet.
In every color.
Well, there we go. I guess I was going to sing with you, but you know what? We're going to skip that one this week. So join us next week. If you want to hear that closing song, go to our sacred music playlist on YouTube. And thank you so much. Okay, time for our meet and greet, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. And we're going to go ahead and turn our Facebook camera around. We're going to change the orientation. And let's see. And there we are. Okay. And it looks like we have a verification on TikTok. I'm going to go ahead and do that. They're making me put one little piece of puzzle with another piece of the puzzle. And let me see if I can actually do this. It's, I guess it must be precise. Oh, they sure make it difficult. Okay, so I'm going to try it again. And wow, is that touchy. Okay. Probably because we went beyond 60 minutes. So, okay, hello, everybody. I see we have, we might have some viewers there on TikTok. Does anyone have any questions? We don't have any questions on YouTube. Right now, I don't see anyone on Facebook for questions, but I do see some on TikTok, but I'm not sure that the messaging feature is on. If anyone would like to reach out and do any volunteer work, please feel free to, if you'd like to help get us a little more user-friendly with all of our social medias. We're thinking about using maybe StreamYard or something like that, but also to have some more interactive, one-on-one, or, as we can kind of invite viewers to speak and to talk afterwards. I would love to see that happen. Just drop us an email at our site, or give us a call. Our phone number's on the website. So what a great topic today. I loved sharing about miracles. I invite you to pick up a copy of The Nature of Miracles, Volume 1. It is my journey through journaling and meditations and affirmations and awakening. I think it's great for anyone who is a spiritual seeker looking to live a more spiritual life, and to be more conscious and aware, and to bring that into their daily focus. And some of the stories I shared, the full versions will be in Volume 2, The Nature of Miracles, Real Life Miracle Stories. So I thank you for joining in. This was kind of an impromptu little jump in tonight as we were reviewing this morning's service. And I wasn't sure that I was going to do the service, but I wanted to show up. I didn't want to disappoint. And I want to make sure we keep our momentum going for what we're building here and what we're doing each week. So thank you. You are all blessings. I love you, and know that all of you that are watching and will watch this later, that you are a miracle. And I thank you so much. We'll see you next week.